All right, let's talk about Black Bag with Michael Fassbender and Kate Blanchett. This is a Steven Soderbergh film. He's obviously created banger after banger after banger. This movie is very interesting. I want to dive into what I like about it, what I don't like, on a little bit of the story. I'm not going to try to spoil it for you, but this is a really interesting one. And I think where this movie goes wrong is the trailer. Because if you're to watch the trailer, it kind of looks like a little bit more of an action movie. There's no action in this movie. There's like one scene that almost turns into an action scene, and then it doesn't, right? So there's no bang bang shoot 'em up. There's one car explosion, but you'll have to see contextually how that all happens and everything. This is not an action film. This is totally an espionage. This is a thriller. It is tense. It's interesting. It's thought provoking. It's very complex. It's a pretty cool story. I like this. It's a psychological thriller. Is really what it is. And I think in that respect, they did a really, really good job. I think they did a really, really good job. You don't know who has done what throughout almost the entire film. You start to get your suspicions, and coming into the third act, you really have some strong suspicions. And then they twist it on you, and you think, "Oh my gosh, that's actually I was wrong." And then it goes in a couple different directions. So I think they did a really good job. I think the psychology behind everything, they did a really good job. So as far as the story is concerned, if you're going in expecting an action movie, you'll be disappointed. If you're going in expecting a psychological thriller, I think you're going to be really happy with this. It's very, very well done. And obviously Michael Fassbender and the entire cast, as I jump into the cast real quick. So Steven Soderbergh directed it. David Cope wrote it. Great pedigrees right there. So this is going to be a solid, well-written film. Very clever dialogue. Michael Fassbender, Kate Blanchett, Gustav Skarsgård. He has a very, very small part in this, but he does a good job. Tom Burke is interesting. Marissa is interesting. I'm going to say this wrong. I don't even want to try to pronounce Mr. Page's name, so we'll just not do it because I'll get it wrong. Everybody always complains I'm off by like a little nuance. And this person's an idiot. They have no credibility because they can't pronounce this person's name. Yeah, go shove it, buddy. Pierce Brosnan, obviously. Look, there was only one actor in this whole movie that took me. Let's put it this way. All the acting was great. It really was. It was very, very good. One actor took me out. And I think it was... No, not this guy. Where is he? He was the CIA agent. There's one CIA agent in this whole thing. Pretty much everybody speaks with an English accent. But there's one CIA agent, which I can't see on this list right now. He's the only one who was kind of flat and unbelievable with what he was saying, right? Not believable as an actor. Everything else was very masterfully done. The thing that bothered me about this movie, the only complaint I actually have about it was I went in with the wrong expectations. So I had to reframe my expectations while I was watching it. And by the end of the second act, I was like, I actually really love this. And I think they did a great job. So just reframing my expectations. But if you notice, they're using a pro mist filter. And this is the strongest pro mist filter I've ever seen in my life. So whatever they're putting over the lens here, this pro mist effect where it's very hazy. There are moments in the film where the haze is so bad that it's actually hard to see. Look at how much bleed of orange from this light there is on his black shirt. Major light bleed everywhere. And I know, obviously, they did that on purpose. Cameras don't just do that. That is a misty filter. It's called a pro mist, honestly, if you're a photographer or a videographer. And they did it on every single shot. I mean, there's no question. Look at how kind of blown out and misty everything is. Even this sunlight is bleeding massively over into the shot. So at times it was gorgeous. Looked really good. But I think they should have done it selectively as opposed to every single shot. Because what it ended up actually doing was muddying a lot of the facial expressions and kind of making it difficult to watch at times. Like, look at how much light bleed is actually here. They weren't afraid to shoot dark. A lot of the faces were dark. I actually like that. This was a very dark film. There's a couple daytime scenes, but overall it's a very, very dark film. So stylistically, probably the Pro Mist filter turned up to 11 was probably the only thing that bothered me. And literally every shot, look at this. Every shot is just Pro Misted to death. So I think that was probably the only thing that bothered me. Even this, where he's got no lighting behind him, backlighting, which they backlit almost everything, which is fine. That's beautiful usually. It's pretty fuzzy here, unless it's just the very center of his face, which is still not very clear. So I think that was the only thing that bothered me, is everything was muddy and washed out. You see that? It's really muddy and washed out. And this was a stylistic choice by Steven and his director of photography. I think it was the only thing that bothered me about this movie. It was solid and competent through and through. The story was good. I would say it accomplished exactly what he wanted it to accomplish. And I would say this is a solid movie if you like a psychological thriller with no action. There's no action. But it's a psychological thriller. If you like that kind of thing, you're really going to like this movie. If you're an action person and that's all you want to see is bang, bang, shoot 'em up, this is absolutely not the movie for you. But I think for me, this is like a 7 out of 10 in its lane. This is a good movie. It's a solid movie. Great writer, great director, phenomenal acting across the board, except for one person, the CIA agent. You'll know what I mean when you see him. But should you go to the theaters to see this? Only if you're really into psychological thrillers. I think this is better to sit at home with popcorn. I know I hate saying that. I know I'm a filmmaker. I want everyone to go see my movies in the theaters. I did screen one of my new movies this weekend, which was really cool. But if you like psychological thriller, go see this. It is a solid 7, which is a good score for me. Remember, 5 is average. Most movies are kind of in that average range. This is above average. This is a good movie. If you're looking for action, that's not it. But otherwise, very good story, good plot twist, kept you on the edge of your seat. Well done, Steven and the whole team. That's it. I think this is a good movie. You have to really decide whether or not you want to see it. If you like that sort of thing, definitely this is a very good version of that. So, hope you enjoyed. Sorry I've been gone. I've been doing so much for my film, 2 of my films, and some cool stuff that I have going on. So I'm back this week. I have a couple videos dropping, talking about several things, but looking forward to doing more with you guys, and we'll see you. Make sure you thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you later this week in the next video. See ya.